never be overdressed or overeducated, and I believe that's true. School age typically means 5 years old here in the United States. That's when children typically would start kindergarten and begin the education that they're going to receive through the public school system. I'm going to talk to you today about why I believe that children should be offered an option called universal preschool. I believe that universal preschool is imperative for our nation's children, and it should be available to every child regardless of income. The reasons that this is important are, it's a benefit to the child, of course, and that's obvious, but the benefits to society are a little less clear to a lot of people. The Department of Education's School Readiness Report for fiscal year 2014 says that there's a strong justification for federal investment in high-quality preschool programs. It leaves children with, they're better prepared when they do start school. They're less likely to retain a grade, which is a pretty big deal. They score higher on reading and math assessments in elementary, and they're more likely to graduate from high school than children who don't attend such programs. That in itself is a reason why we should be investing in preschool programs for every child. The tax dollars that we spend, for every $1 that we spend on universal preschool, we get back 7 in future cost savings. That's in things like less remedial education expenses, less crime, and increased labor productivity. And that's also from that School Readiness Report. The Frank Porter Graham Child Development Institute, it's a world-renowned leader in child development research. They did a study called the Abecedarium Project. It started in the 70s, where they took at-risk families from low-income areas, and they put the kids in a preschool program where the teachers had master's level education, the staff-to-child ratio was very small, and there was a lot of follow-through, not only during the school day, but I think the teachers visited at least once a week at home and stayed in contact with these kids throughout the preschool program. Those kids, 30 years later, they're showing more education, more consistent employment, more college degrees, delaying parenting by at least 2 years, and they're less likely to use public assistance than the control group that children from similar backgrounds with no preschool showed. The findings are clear that the investment is worth it, and the problem is there's just not instant gratification. It does take time to see the return. I saw a quote on the internet recently that talked about why it's okay to pay for taxes for education even if you don't have a child, and he said it was because you don't want to live in a world full of stupid people, and I don't. So I think that that we should definitely look at investing more money in education. Idaho currently ranks 50th in education spending in the nation and 25th in spending on prisons. That means that we spend 3.5 times more per prisoner than we do for every public school student. To me, that's ridiculous. We really need to work on where we're putting our priorities. We've had bills in the Senate and through the legislature to start a universal preschool, or at least a preschool option for every child. And that one was enacted, or one was put through as recently as 2011 by the Caldwell School District. It was a brilliant plan. All it offered was the option for schools to implement a program if they wanted to, and parents to send their child if they wanted to, and the legislature shot it down. I believe that we have some short-sighted lawmakers who need to look at the big picture and maybe just take a moment and think about down the road when they're not here, the return on the investment if we invest in education today. And the stats from that is idahoea.org. The opposition to a universal preschool, they'll tell you that one of the problems that we would face is that families should be taking care of it. As a mother, I wouldn't know what to do to get a child ready for kindergarten. I could try to find it, but I don't want to guess with my child's education, and I don't think that you should either. So I think that we definitely need to have experts involved, at least the option. Head Start is something that lawmakers will tell you is an option, and it's not working. The last year's report did show that there was no cognitive gains for children through the Head Start program. that's because the program's fundamentally flawed. It only helps children that are below the federal poverty line. So they show gains through second, third grade, and then they taper off, and that's because there's no education requirements. One of the opposition leaders for Universal Preschool said something about the Head Start program basically just being a jobs program for adults, and it may actually be, that may be a little harsh, but the program just isn't set up to succeed right now, and that's why we need to invest more money and more effort into making sure that we do have a program that's high quality. The Quality Counts Education Survey by Education Week showed Idaho was less than 2 points above the lowest state in the nation for education. We have a C minus. They're factoring things like transfer success and K through 12 achievement. Idaho's a great place to live, and we want to stay away from the bottom of those lists. And the way we need to do that is to rally the public support for Universal Preschool with social media campaigns, TV, radio advertising, and get the public to rally the lawmakers and let them know that it's time for Universal Preschool to be an option for every child, regardless of income. And to do that, one thing that we're going to ask you to do is contact your lawmakers, and there will be a Facebook page that you can access. And the James Heckman blog, I have a piece of paper for everybody to take home. The James Heckman, the HeckmanEquation.org blog has a lot of information about the RaisingOfAmerica.org, which is a documentary series that talks about are we crazy about our kids? And it just will give you a little bit more information. In closing, Nelson Mandela said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Thank you.
You did awesome. Sure did.